rubber thing?
Yep, a small one. Today I'm changing the oil on a 2004 Chevy Suburban. The process is the same for really any car, so no matter what car you have, this process will work for you too. This right here is my drain plug right here. That's your oil pan, and all the oil is up inside of this pan here. So when I pull that, all the oil will drain out of this plug. Okay. The plug is on pretty tight. But once you break it loose, it comes out very easy. You can turn it right out by hand. So we'll let that drain for a bit. Okay, the drainage is pretty much stopped now, so we'll put the plug back in here. And we'll tighten it on, good and snug. Oh, good. That's on good and snug. I'm using this little belt wrench here. Basically, you wrap that belt around something that you want to torque out, and then it gives you a handle to torque with. I'm going to use that to loosen up this filter. You can also get just a simple oil filter that attaches to your filter wrench that attaches to your socket wrench, that you can torque it out with that. But it's a little too snug to turn by hand, so I'm going to use this belt wrench and turn it out with the belt wrench. There we go. Now it'll turn very easily by hand, and I'm going to try and position this oil pan right underneath it, because we're going to get quite a bit of oil leaking down. You can see it already starting to flow. We'll let that sit for a bit while the rest of that oil pours out of that filter receptacle. Okay, so we'll put this new filter on in place of the old one. Put this new one on, it just screws right on. And what you want to do is turn it by hand until that rubber ring on the filter just comes into contact right there with the engine block. It still turns pretty easily, but that's right where it came into contact with the engine block. Now I'm looking at this, there's writing on the filter itself, and what you want to do is just note the position of that writing, because as we turn this on, what we want to do is turn the filter 3/4 of a turn past the point where it comes in contact with your engine block. So right now that writing is in this direction, so I want to turn it 270 degrees so the writing is going that direction, and that way I'll know I've turned it far enough. There we go. That's 3/4 of a turn. So that's on good and tight. If you don't have that tight enough, then you'll leak oil from your oil filter. If it's too tight, you could crush the filter turning it on there, so you don't want to damage the filter. So 3/4 of a turn is right where you want to be. We've got the plug in, the filter back on. Now we fill it up with oil and we should be good to go. Okay, here's where the oil goes in to our engine. The oil cap just twists off. It's very simple. Many cases, the oil cap will say right on it what kind of oil to get. 5W30 is the one that this one says to use, and that's what we got, the SAE 5W30. So we'll put some of that oil in there. This engine takes about 5 quarts, and this is a 5-quart container, so we'll pour most of it in there. Not all of the old oil fully drains out of the engine, so there'll be some that's still in there, so it won't take the full 5 quarts, but we'll put a good bit of it in here and then measure to see where we are at. Now you can see the dipstick is wet all the way up to the top of the hashes. That's the full mark. Where the hashes stop is where is the highest point that the oil should go. If you fill it up more than that, you could actually cause some damage to your engine. So be careful not to overfill, but looks like we've got it filled exactly to the top. And that's it. So the real question now is, was this worth my time as a do-it-yourself project? A wise man once said, do not spend money for that which is of no worth. Know your labor for that which cannot satisfy. So I use a simple formula to compute my savings and the value of my time to determine whether it's better for me to do this job myself or to hire it out. In total, on oil and filter at my local auto parts store, I spent a total of $23.53. If I were to take my car to the local Jiffy Lube and use the $7 off coupon that they have available on their website, I would have spent $40.61 to get this oil change done. So by doing it myself, I saved a total of $17.08. When I figure in the time it took me to go to the store and get the supplies, do the job, and then return to the store to dispose of the used oil, it took me a total of 2 hours to complete this job. So in other words, I paid myself $8.54 an hour to do this job. I could have made more money by flipping burgers for those 2 hours. So just from a strictly financial point of view, this probably wasn't worth my time, especially when you consider that the Jiffy Lube service will also top up the other fluids in my car, including my windshield washer fluid and my brake fluid. So now that it's time to do the oil change on my other car, what am I going to do? I'm going to have my kid do it. Hey, Amy! I want to set this oil, what do you call this? I don't remember what this thing is called.
Oil pan?
It's not, well, that's the oil pan. Hang on. Get up here. Ouch. We've completed the oil change on this 2004 Chevy Suburban. I just cried. That sounded like I crushed something, didn't it? I don't think I did. I think it was the hinges just creaking, but it sounded like I came down on something.
No.
Yes, I did. That was the container my oil plug came in. I had it sitting over there on the edge. Yeah, I crushed it. Okay. Alright, we'll put our oil rag back in.